What's going on, and welcome back to Kickin with Podcast. This is episode 22.
Can we restart?
First one of the new. Yeah, you want to restart?
yeah, because I was like...
Oh, you're jamming to the tunes? Yeah, we'll keep it in and then we'll restart.
Alright, that's fine.
Sorry, here we go. Are you vibing to that a little bit? Like that, Jane?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. What's going on, and welcome back to Kickin' It With. This is episode 22. My name is Zac Holcomb. Today we are joined by Reid Rouse and Reid Rouse. You guys may know of them. They're from around. Anywho, we just want to get up here. It's the first recording of 2023. Congratulations. Somehow, I don't know how we screwed that up. We didn't get 22 episodes in last year, so we could open this year on episode 23, but...
Oh, okay.
Oh well, we got close enough.
At least we're the first.
Yeah, it is the 23rd episode though, because we had the half episode, the emergency one with Noah Justice. We had to fit it in. We had actually already recorded episode 10 with Chrissy and Shay, and we had posted episode 9, and then we had an emergency situation where Noah Justice had to explain himself quickly, and so we had to do an emergency episode 9.5.
I'm sure that took precedence.
Yeah, it got a ton of views. It was really hilarious. As when he was talking about dropping the G or putting the G back and doing hashtag Kingston and all that.
Oh, we need
big
that.
on that.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we were kind of talking a little bit off camera about doing the dropping the G for New Year's Eve.
Yep.
It's got to happen.
I really think a lot of people would show up for it. I think it'd be...
And leave it to Stacy to come up with that, right?
Yeah. Great idea. Just don't tell everyone it was his idea or everyone will hate it. You know what I mean?
understand.
That's how it is with him.
Well, haters gonna hate.
Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, man, what have you guys been up to? I know you guys we're in the throes of wrestling season right now.
Yep.
How's that been going?
Busy.
Fantastic.
Slamming.
We got North Lenoir. We got the wrestling club.
Yeah, the club.
And been doing some tournaments with the wrestling club. And North Lenoir's been doing their thing. So been keeping us busy.
Good.
Around the clock, really. I mean, we got the high schoolers coming in after practice on the weekdays, and then Wednesday or Thursday, just depending on the day, we go work with the young kids and for elementary school and middle school, and some high schoolers, just depending on whether or not their school has wrestling or not. But it's been pretty good. A lot of improvements right here recently.
Yeah. You guys pull any high school kids? I've been around a little bit. You guys pull any high school kids from teams that don't, or schools that don't have teams? Is there a way for them to wrestle as independents or anything like that? Or?
No, but we did pull a kid from Goldsboro, which was school engineering. He came a couple times, and me and Chrissy went to school with his dad.
Oh, right on.
And so he came a couple of times. And I think we've had a couple more kids from here and there. They're just guest appearance kind of thing, just to come try it out. But nothing that's stuck other than our guys,
Well, really, the league we're in is for elementary through middle school.
Okay.
But they have summer wrestling that high schoolers could do for little freestyle and Greco tournaments. But that would probably be their only option other than their local high school.
Yeah. And then I've noticed this other style of wrestling down here, beach style or beach wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? Is that just takedown? It's the summer thing,
it's
right?
It's a new kind of thing they're trying to...
Yeah, I think it is just takedown because Everett did that at a tournament in Greenville last, May, maybe? April, May?
Like that.
It was like a Greco-Roman thing.
So it's take them down, let them up. Don't.
Kind of almost like sumo, though. It had a ring. You could either take down
smaller.
or push them out.
Yeah, it's
Ooh, I kind of like that.
like a sand court.
Oh, really?
If you were thinking of
sumo.
beach volleyball, they were doing it in the sand. It was pretty cool, like just shorts, and they were rolling.
I might have to check that out.
It was. I actually kind of liked it a little bit.
So the way I interpreted it, the one time I read a thing, there's this kid on my team. He was a year older than me. He was a 4-time finalist in Ohio, and he finally won it as a senior. His name was Josh Horn, and he was notorious for we'd always give him shit because he sucked at wrestling on the mat. He wouldn't get beat up on the mat, but he wasn't that good, especially for an Ohio guy. But he would kill you on his feet, man. This is all he wanted to do, is to just kill you on his feet. And I saw this thing about beach wrestling. I was like, man, Josh would have freaking loved that. It's all he wanted to do. As soon as I went to the mat, he was like, eh. He would just take down, let people up, take them down, let them up. He'd go through the state tournament just doing takedowns on people.
I got you.
Oh, wow.
Crazy good.
Because of that?
No, we never knew what that was. But
see.
that was, when I read the interpretation of what for beach wrestling style, I was like, oh, that's the Josh Horn style. I talked to my dad about it. He was like, yeah, that sounds like what Josh would do. I was like, yeah. But
I think they had a big tournament in the summertime in Wilmington.
Yeah. There's a kid down there that was doing a leg clinic or something. That's how I had read it all about. But anywho, you guys been doing, so you've been traveling on the Sundays to get the youth tournaments with the guys.
We've done two so far. Actually,
and camps too.
Kind of three, because we had a workout with Rosewood. It was supposed to be a little bit more, but I think there was a kind of a rival tournament a little bit further away, but closer for some people. So a lot of people backed
Gotcha.
out, but we still ended up going just to get our kids some mat time. And then we had one a couple of months ago, like
About a month ago, we had we had one in Clayton.
Yes.
Like a warm up.
Yeah, it's kind of like just a takedown tournament,
Yeah.
kind of getting the kids some mat time. But we went to one Sunday; it was really good. Actually, we had some kids surprise us, did very well.
well.
Pretty, pretty far. A couple of kids went undefeated, so that was really nice.
I think we had 7 or 8 kids come, all the way from pre-K, like 4 years old, little kid. It's named Ben, super good kid. And then we had, what was that? A couple of 2nd graders, 3 2nd graders on top of that, and then so I had those. They had 2 mats, but I had them kind of split down the middle. And then so I had the smaller kids. Channing had Jeremiah, Tevis, Liam, and
that was it. That was it
3.
for my group.
Yeah, we had 7 total, and the upper elementary, middle school kids really rocked out.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they were impressive.
Nice.
Had a couple of clubs that were talking to them, and even had a guy that I know from Relentless Wrestling in Greenville. He was talking about Jeremiah in particular, and he is in Caden Rochester, in LaGrange, and then Liam Barwick. They wrestle hard. Caden couldn't come, but Caden and Liam had gotten some props from a couple of clubs on the tournament before in Clayton. So we've done 2. We've done a warm-up in Clayton, a tournament in Clayton, and now a tournament in Greenville.
Nice.
So just working it up.
That's sweet that you're keeping Jeremiah out. That dude is serious.
Yeah, Jeremiah looked great.
Dude, he's serious.
His
a super
takedowns are
competitor
crazy.
already.
His double legs is
He
insane.
has such ridiculous core strength for like an
Oh my
8-year-old
God.
or whatever he is.
He's like a
Is
mutant.
he
Yeah.
8? Yeah, he's like a mutant. Yeah.
8 or 9.
There's no telling what he's going to be like when he gets high school.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
high
got
motor.
natural.
High motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he falls correctly.
Listens.
He falls with his hips down. Like he just does stuff.
Yeah, when he does the single double legs, he doesn't like drop his head. I mean, it's like legitimate takedown. You know what I mean? When
And he
gets
just doesn't know any better. He
And,
just
and
do it.
look,
It's
he
sweet.
does exactly what you tell him. I
Yep.
mean, when he does the takedowns, he doesn't let them go when they go to belly up, and he works up top.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for.
Pretty impressed with him.
That's the game, yeah. If you can say it and not have to say it too many times and they start adding it to their game, man, that's the most rewarding part of coaching for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. How's the high school team been doing?
Pretty well. Definitely seen a lot of improvement so far. We got a couple of new faces this year, but really the guys that I expected to do well are doing well, and even some of them like Jared, Dakota, and even I'll toot a horn to Everett a little bit. They're doing way better than I expected them to. But honestly, it's all in the preparation. They've been working all off season. Year round. They hadn't stopped wrestling. Most of the time guys will get a break and be like, I'll pick it up in a couple of months, or when the season comes back around. No, they've been right on it.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. The only ones that haven't come really, the ones that's been on the off days or the extra days have been the ones that like have another sport, or like some of them on the weekends or something might be doing. Like we've got a couple of female wrestlers that are really doing great, putting forth the effort, I think, and they may be doing something else with travel volleyball or something like that.
Right.
So
That
it's
makes sense.
I think this is the first time in a long time he's had basically a full roster. If everybody's there or not injured or something's happening, it's a full slate. It's pretty impressive right now.
That's sweet. I mean, that's key when you go into all those dual matches and stuff like that. I mean, just having a body, having a pulse, and getting someone to run out there, get you 1 or 2 extra forfeits makes a whole difference. In
Yeah,
a
I
lot
think
of,
last
especially in
year-
like this area, a lot of partial teams.
What was that? Last year was like 7 players or something like that, 7 or 8. So you were behind the 8 ball every time you went out there.
Already.
Yeah, you gotta pin to win every single match,
Yeah.
not lose anything, and then you still lose by like 12. And you're like,
Or some sort of criteria.
yeah, that's true
But,
too.
Yeah, I'm really excited this year for the guys, especially coming up regionals time. But I've been most excited about them because I've seen the way their movements have changed, just working with you and working with Jeff and working with me, and just seeing how like little things they pick up on and the things they see in the match is really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
No, it's tight. It's tight.
Yeah,
finding those
definitely
little things to
fundamentals
fix.
getting better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, totally. Like, dude, just watching Everett from like last year. Like, I started-ish going in the room about this time last year, and it was like I'd like try to show a move, and he'd like fall on his hip, and I'd be like, "Come on, Everett! Like, jeez,
Yeah.
dude, like, come on! Like, spread your knees out a little bit there or something." And now it's a totally different game.
It's
Now
night and day.
He's heavy. Like, not heavy like he weighs a lot. He's just heavy on you when
Yeah.
you're wrestling him.
Yeah, he
You're
knows how to
dealing with
apply it.
you're dealing with the weight and the leverage instead of just like pushing him away or having him back out of the circle. Stuff
No
like
doubt.
That. So big stuff.
He's been, I have to give it to him, along with a couple of other ones there are, he's been putting his time in off the mat, right, with his nutrition. He's been putting his time in on the mat, doing extra, dropping weight, keeping the weight off. There's a bunch of them like that, on the North Lenoir wrestling team. So it's, to be honest with you, it's pretty impressive to see the level of dedication of these kids, honestly.
Everett, even though we're tooting your horn, you were a little bit, but
you were a little bit. That's facts.
Yeah. Everett, you can just turn this off and quit listening. Just save it for after season. My dad used to hate it when people would tell me anything good about what I was doing.
We don't want to pump his head.
He was cool about it.
Any of them, really.
Yeah, but he was like, no. Yeah, we'll cut all that. We'll save that for March.
I mean, that's like us when we were coaching football at North Lenoir.
Yeah.
What was it, 19?
Yeah.
We were, love us or hate us. We would critique you bad, you know what I mean? And part of our thing was on Mondays we do film session. And when we do film session, we'd rip you apart, right? And then we'd build you up, but everybody's laughing and joking in there. Everybody knows what their mistakes are,
right?
And we want to call you out on it, right? So you don't make them again. And at the end of the day, we cleaned it up. We cleaned a lot up at North Lenoir. It was good times.
Yeah, if you can do a lot of that, and it's all good-hearted, and everybody takes it well, man. You're off and running, man. For sure.
Yeah.
We were doing that with Ailey today. She was being a real pain in the tail. She was just being a pain in the ass, actually. She was just being a fool.
That's another level.
Yeah, it was legit. And so we started, she's mad at me for bringing it up. So we started picking on her for little things she couldn't help when she was a baby. I'm talking an infant.
Oh, you reverted back.
Yeah, we started picking, I was like, just so you know, you're being a real jerk and everything, but when you were little, sometimes we had to straighten out that little neck skin so we could clean it. And she was like, oh, Dad, that's terrible.
You went savage.
Yeah. But I told her, I was like, so then Steph started pulling up the pictures to prove that she had the neck. And we were like, that's a good one, just print them out, start putting them in the windows.
Oh, my God.
Right here in downtown.
That's what happens when she wanted to go against you, right?
Yeah.
We've got the proof for it.
That's what I said. So you want to go? All right, let's go. You want to be a little smart ass? I got game, too.
We tell you what we did, we did it now.
Yeah. It was funny, man. It was a good time. Yeah, she's 12, almost 12 and a half.
Oh, that makes a difference when you're that age.
She's 12.36, right? That's something like
teenager.
When you're preteen like that, every day counts.
She reminds me every day.
Understand.
Today she was like, I'm only... I said, you're a long ways away from being 13.
Right on.
She couldn't even count the months. I said, get 2 hands out. It's over 6 months.
You better be ready when she turns 13.
I'm telling you, we're
Holy
already
cow.
It's craziness. That's why I got a little low, my little one, 9, almost 10. And then this little window. And then in a year or two, it's going to be
Sometimes those older ones are bad influences. Sometimes they're good influences too, though, right?
Yeah. I don't know. They're equally bad influences, yeah. Yeah, how was that situation?
I feel like I'm a great influence for Everett.
It's just different.
Role model.
Yeah, what I always say is...
Hold on, what did you just say?
A role model.
Anyway, continue.
At least in wrestling, ROLL.
Yeah. That's how we'll go. We'll stick with that.
But yeah, I don't know. My dad always said that everyone teaches, and it's not always good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely some stuff to not do from anyone.
Well, I think we ain't all perfect now.
No,
you know what I mean? And we all learn from mistakes,
Yeah.
I've made my share. Still do, right?
For sure. But if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying anything new.
That's right.
Yep.
So.
The old adage, you don't learn from successes, you learn from failures, so to speak.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's how we're learning this cameraman, just messing stuff up.
No
we shot
doubt.
a whole day in slow motion with no sound one day. I'm like, cool, now we know how to shoot slow motion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Damn it. It's like, well, that slow motion pinball playing by ourselves at the bar the other night, that was really cool. No sound. Dang it. And man, we were cracking some good jokes, but they're all gone.
Couldn't hear?
No, couldn't hear any of them. Yeah, it's terrible.
Trying to read lips, trying to do that.
Yeah, just deleted it all.
I understand.
Did they record the audio back over it?
Yeah. You dub over it.
We've done some of that. Yeah. Really? Yeah. And well, we've done it with clients too, because sometimes you're just capturing everything live and going, and you don't, or it'll be super echoey audio and stuff like that. And so we have done some stuff for Big Bark where we've lined up the words and added the words to a video, and then had a person come back in and then read their own words.
Really?
As they pop up as a voice, a dub over, so it actually sounds good.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It sounds it.
Not too bad. Bad stuff. Cool. But just go ahead and lead into our first sponsor of the show. Trying to get good about doing the sponsorship stuff.
You should.
Yeah.
So they pay the
YouTube.
bills. Exactly.
It's
I'm
important.
not working them in, not clicking the box that we have sponsored ads, because Big Bark Social is another sponsor of the show as well.
Right.
And that's kind of what we were talking about, online social media help, website creation. Website creation's really been like the main jam for Big Bark Social, which is really cool. So
It's a big thing.
yeah, doing websites starting at $500 for like just, you just need a flashy, nice website, nothing too crazy, not a ton of frills. So it's been
You get an online store and stuff like that? if you wanna do it? Nice.
Yeah, we do the e-commerce. We do $500 for the site, and then we start the e-com at $500.
Okay.
Just depending on how many like SKUs you got. You have like 100 different items. It's going to be more than that, but yeah, just getting the framework set up, and then like a lot of that, the way we try to do it is we set it up to where we can give it to you, and then you can run it on your own, or like
Gotcha.
hit us up if you have questions type things. We do some where we manage them like over time, where we're just kind of like on retainer almost, and it's like if they have like hours that they can use over like each month or whatever, and then we write it up to like, it's all contractual type stuff where it's like, hey, this is like a retainer thing. If you've got like a oh crap moment on the weekend, the website goes down, like we're gonna stop what we're doing and get it back up for you.
Right.
And like if
Oh,
you want
that's
to do
nice.
like you want to roll some new pages in or something, or you want to do a new section, or you want to work in a blog, you get so many hours a month, and if you want anything over top of that, there's just like an hourly rate or something like
I
that.
see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Proven better than Squarespace.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she uses she does like Wix for a lot of them, I think, but for setting them up, we're not super into all the coding and stuff.
Gotcha.
But I got all these other ways that make everything so easy nowadays.
Well, that's
just
right.
use them, so that's what we do largely. But yeah, setting them up and then handing them off to people has been that's what I like.
Well, some
to do.
people don't know where to start at all, right?
It is. It's daunting. Like it's a huge task.
It
Like,
is. It's a lot. I mean, I can only imagine trying to set up a big web page for a business and just go, where do I begin? What
Yeah.
pages do I want? What do I want to put on it? How do I want it to look?
Yeah.
And then, you might peruse some of these sites like you're talking about that have got templates, but is that what you really want? And if not, who do you turn to? It's a good place to be for you guys.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's like one of those things like anyone can figure out how to do it, but it's like what's your time worth? How long you want to spend learning all these skills that you're going to use once? It's like what I call like a 7-month skill. Like it's one of those things that like you learn it and you remember it for about 6 months, but you're not going to need it for 7 months. By the time you need it again, you're like, damn it, how did I do all this?
And
stuff again?"
technology changed too.
It changes.
Yeah.
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 Always
Nothing's
Plus,
always
there's
the same.
all those things, like all this like this edgy tech stuff, like especially for additive America, like in 3D print land, like it's the freaking frontier of what it is, melting plastic layer by layer. Like when you think like, oh, it's got an HP logo on it, must work perfect. They're a huge printing company. Why wouldn't they have that figured out? Like no one in 3D printing has a clue what they're doing, really. Like the hardware and the software and stuff is all like. There's less than, like, I don't know how many of those machines, like the HP 580s, but like, there's definitely, I would say, for sure, less than 1,000 in the world. Like,
Really?
maybe 500.
Wow.
That's
They just don't make a ton of them. If I'm way off on that, someone from HP, please crucify me and tell me exactly how many you guys made. But like, they've already discontinued them, so like,
Oh,
they
man.
didn't make a lot of
I
them.
got you.
Well, supply and
It's a pretty
demand,
amazing
and Not a lot
process.
of people really trying to get into
Get
this
into it.
business like
Yeah.
that, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad you're here in Kinston doing that.
Me too.
thanks, man. It's
Yeah,
fun
no
stuff.
doubt.
It's
Pretty
fun
chill,
stuff.
dog.
Yeah, I like it. It's
And helping us with wrestling.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's important.
I haven't been able to the last couple weeks, man. I had to focus on business, man. I
Hey,
understand.
look, we understand that.
It's such
for
a
sure.
pain. If anyone's out there and they just like giving up, like if you're like an angel investor or like you like to do venture capital and you're cool with like just losing 25 to 100,000, just go ahead and if you would slide that to us, and it can be in payments too. Like it doesn't have to be lump sum, but if you just start putting money in the Out of America bank account, it would make our lives a lot less stressful, and we'd be able to do a lot more cool stuff every day.
Agreed. Or into wrestling mats for LaGrange
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Yeah,
That's another good
you
one.
could donate
Or
to the
singlets.
Grange
Singlets
Grapplers.
would be good too. Yeah.
Garden Spike grapplers need sponsors.
I like that.
We need headgear. We need
Yeah.
wrestling singlets.
The headgear should be doable.
Yeah, I feel like we could raise enough money for that.
Yeah. You gotta get a little wrestling only booster program going.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
I think that's
Well, the town got us started, right?
yes, which is
Town bought us the mats. Town let us use a big old ginormous warehouse portion
Huge.
of the community center. It was awesome.
Yes.
We sunk a little stuff, some of our stuff in it, right?
Yeah, we put a bit into it.
Put a bit into it, put some time. Town just bought us a TV. Had that Relentless Wrestling Club in Washington had in their wrestling room had a TV. he was showing us some stuff with I think were dopamine bands, which were really awesome for taking shots and doing some other exercises. And then the next thing you know, I noticed the TV on the wall. It had a timer. So I asked Patrick, I said, man, what is that? He's like, oh, he said, we just got that for, it's got a timer. When it buzzes it off, we take a break and do all that with it. And I said, I'm going to look into that. So talked to the town manager, John Kraft, told him what we're looking. He orders us a TV. So on my iPhone, I downloaded a timer that does some split time and gives some rest, that kind of stuff. And you can, what's it called, screen mirroring? Yeah, and it pops it up on the screen, and then it sounds up, so it gives buzzers, countdown clocks. That's pretty cool. And then we got another one that actually, I got to looking in these wrestling apps, and they got us one that for a score. So when we're having kids wrestle, most of the time we do our drills, and then we'll have like a tournament from smaller ones, and then if you win, you just keep wrestling, right? And so now we can keep up with the score, and any parents that come or any of the kids that can look up, they can see what the score of the match is. Pretty good. Little added bonus for us.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I think we want to try to have. We're getting through this year with the USA Wrestling Eastern North Carolina Youth League, and there's a bunch of places. Greg Sisk over at Greenville Wrestling Club, Stan Chambers for Dynamic Wrestling over in the Clayton area. Those two guys are really running that league. We're glad to be a part of it, and I think it's us, Dynamic Wrestling, Rosewood High School, Rosewood's youth program.
Yeah, they're
There's
not.
a team out of Jacksonville too.
Team out of Jacksonville, I think. Greenville, Relentless out of Washington, and some other ones around kind of the Wake County area. And just got kids showing up. How many kids you think over there Sunday?
There's a lot there, but touching back on our program, just what we got going on as far as the new TV and stuff, I'm pretty excited about that because a lot of times when they're having their matches at the end of practice and stuff for their round robin, the parents, they kind of get it, but at the same sense they don't understand the scoring or what the takedowns mean, or when I'm 3 near fall, they don't know what that means. So it's just, we're getting that. It's nice to keep them interactive. They'll start learning. The kids will learn more because we talk to them about scoring points all the time, not just about pinning. There's an art to the game, and if they can't see it, they don't understand as well. But I think that'll be a nice little touch. But the league is pretty good. It's pretty competitive. But you got some kids in there that are beginners. You got some teams in there that are pretty good. They got some studsy guys in there, but there's a lot of class in there with all the coaches. I know the last tournament we were at Sunday, they had a couple of kids in there, pretty good wrestlers, pretty skillful, and all they did was go in there. They worked moves. They weren't there to try and embarrass anybody. They were there to work new techniques because they knew that they were going to be dominant, and they let somebody else have a chance to kind of be competitive. And that's all we're really looking for is to give these kids kind of an outlet somewhere that, LaGrange doesn't have a lot of sports as far as what they got going on. A lot of that stuff got shut down. So this is kind of an avenue we're trying to filter the kids back through so they can, have a little area for themselves. The closest thing to a real community center for the outreach of the town is the Woodman in Kinston.
Yeah.
And that's a 10-minute drive, and
It's a hike. Yeah.
some people's parents aren't going to take them there. Bluntly, so
Yeah, it makes sense.
if they can come there and get some work in, and we can kind of help guide some of the ones that need to be guided. Not everybody, but some people. I feel like
we got kids from South Lenoir area, Greene County, LaGrange. Had some from Goldsboro area.
Snow Hill.
Yes, Snow Hill. We've got kids from all over. And when we first started it, I think there was 80 plus that would come.
Yeah,
and we're talking about pre-K to 8th grade, right? And then we added in the high schoolers. So, and then it
kind of dwindled.
Then you figured out where the people really
summer,
like to wrestle, right?
Right.
And then so now we're
Different
probably
mindset.
we're probably 30 plus every week.
It's still solid.
It's great, solid.
Yeah, some people come sometimes. We understand different seasons. People have different things going on, especially stuff people have invested their time and energy in. We're one time a week. So,
yeah, that's true.
If you're doing baseball year round and you got a baseball game on Wednesday, go to your baseball game. We'll catch you next Wednesday,
We'll pick you up when you come back.
Yeah,
Not
for
a big
sure.
deal.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. There's no shortage of, everyone's kind of in the same ballpark, so you don't have to worry about having like 4 kids that are like ridiculously advanced and then 7 kids that have no clue and then a bunch of kids in the middle. Like in general, you've been able to bring them all along like a lot of the same way, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think last week we had 3 new kids last week, and I think they liked it so much they were talking about bringing friends this coming week. And you got kids that are dropping off, you got new kids that are coming. And we've had some kids that didn't want to wrestle at all when they got there, and now they love wrestling, right? So it's actually been super positive for the community, for us as coaches, right? You know, and for the kids that are coming. It's been great.
Yeah, I remember like the first couple ones that Chrissy was like posting on Facebook, which I think was like the best advertising for it ever. But like, you guys had a ton of kids like the first couple of times. I mean, it was I was legitimately blown away by how many kids showed up at those first 2 or 3. I was like, holy freaking cow.
It was nuts.
We never even saw stuff like that where I was like, they got like 80 kids out there. Like, geez, like our school was set up. I mean, they were sending people to state since 80. This was like, so 25 years in, and we'd have like 40 to 60 kids in the novice. I was just like, holy cow, there's just so many kids. And you know how it goes. Like, people drop off and stuff. It's wrestling. It's hard. Not everybody wants to do it.
That's true.
Obviously.
That's facts. And we're ramping it up a little bit, too, to be honest with you. I mean, we're kind of like, we're turning a corner. What was it, May will be 1 year, I think.
Yeah,
we're turning a corner. So basically our vision is, you know, we're doing this youth league, right? It's rookies and under. It's 2 years and less experience. And, you know, you can tell, like, there's some kids that 1 year, 2 years that are a lot better than some of our kids. Yeah. But we got kids that are better than other kids, right? So there's a big mixture. But like what Channing was talking about, you know, Greg Sis would call them hammers. You know, if you got a hammer, then let's just work a move, right? If you see you're overpowering a kid with skill or strength, then work a move, right? Yeah. And so far, so good, right? The coaches have been fantastic on that, and there's been like no embarrassment, right? It's kind of even kill tournament. It's all about getting mat time. That's all we want for the kids because there's no substitution for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the ones who want to take it to another level, you know, if they're putting forth a whole lot of effort, you know, we've been inviting them, like if they're older with some of the high schoolers. But the goal is to kind of ramp it up and do another night. If we could do another night, for the ones who really want to put in the effort, it'll increase their wrestling skills tenfold.
Yeah, like an advanced night. That's what I would really like to get into, advanced night. Because, I mean, we do got some people that come just to come. I mean, there are people who come and practice every Wednesday religiously, and then they don't go to the tournaments because it's just something for their kid to kind of come, stay in shape. You know, maybe they got to work in the car or something like that. But it's somewhere their kid can kind of get some activity. But I really like seeing the ones who progress pretty well, like Liam and Caden. Those are 2 that have really
Jeremiah.
Yeah, Jeremiah
Tevis
too.
is doing
Tevis
great
as well. Who were some more?
Oh man,
that have done really well previously.
When they keep Tyreek, Zeke, Tahari, when they come, they wrestle hard.
Yeah,
we've got a bunch of new kids that are not comfortable yet with themselves in the sport to be able to go to a tournament, but are really putting forth a lot of effort.
Nice.
I think we're going to have even more with these new kids that are coming.
Yeah,
I think we're going to have some kids that really want to like the sport of wrestling. And I think those are the kids. It's like everything else. You know you're a wrestler. Whatever you put into wrestling is what you're going to get out of it. And if you put in minimal effort, you're going to get minimal results. If you put in a lot of effort over time, you're going to exponentially get better.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things, man. Like the life lessons of wrestling are crazy. It's silliness. It makes like it's funny. Like try to explain to someone that's not wrestled like what that's like.
Yeah.
It's like I've tried to explain it to my wife. It's like, all right, Lola, our sweet little daughter, is almost 10. At 7 and 8, I was getting taken all around the state of Ohio and surrounding states by a group of screaming fathers to gyms with more screaming fathers and screaming moms.
Oh, God, we don't even want to go
Dude,
to
we would get to some Appalachia spots like West Virginia, and you'd have to look out for the moms with the mullets because they would be worse than the dads. They'd start fighting with each other. I mean, this was like hardcore stuff.
Mom the other night at
Southern Wayne.
Chrissy getting worked
She was
up.
about to box
Yeah,
the
mom
lady
got
in the
worked
crowd.
up. Somebody was rooting.
Steph's like that too. Steph will fight a girl, or she'll get in a girl's face real fast.
Let me tell you, man.
Mama don't play.
There was some woman that was rooting against our kids in North Lenoir. Let me tell you, when as my mama would say, the Apache come out, and when the Apache come out, but that was nuts.
Just a
Look, normally I'm kind
clarification, Mom is a percentage Indian, so that's
She is.
That's not anything
and
wrong.
when mom gets ramped up, it's kind of like dad, right? When mom gets ramped up, she's ramped up, and look, she was mama bearing on it. She won't.
Oh, yeah,
She
yeah.
won't having that talking about our kids now.
She was like, "You shut up."
I like that.
Well, yeah. How you like that kind of stuff? It was all.
I like that a lot.
I kinda
you get
like
that
it.
in wrestling. You know?
Oh yeah.
This was like we would. So my dad and then his buddy that he welded with for years, his son was wrestling. They drug us into it, and so we would go. And his mom wouldn't go to all the tournaments, but every now and then she'd make it out to one. And they lived on the west side. They liked to party a little bit, and so we'd go out. We'd wrestle the tournament, and I remember this one tournament. We drove about 3.5 hours away, like just horribly long drive. And we get out of there, it's dark, and Mikey always won. Like he never lost.
Uh-huh.
Like, he just beat the snot out of me all the time. I was like, I get second all the time in my weight class, but he never lost. And this one tournament, Mikey lost in the finals.
Ooh.
And you don't look at him after he loses because it's just he knows
That didn't
what's
go
coming.
well.
Well, Mom was on this trip, so they get done, and she's livid that Mike, she made it to a tournament, and then he freaking loses in it. I come all the way. I actually come out to a tournament, and we drive all this way, and just to watch you lose, Mikey. He's like 9. He's like a year and a half older than me. It's like looking at a 9-year-old and being like, her mom looking at you and being like, I never even come watch you, and the one time I do, you freaking get second. Like,
How did he respond to that?
he would just like shut, like he just didn't.
He just shut down.
He would just not talk to anyone for the whole rest of the day. Well, it'd be time to leave, and you'd see him like walking to the car, like head down. He wouldn't say bye to you, and it's like, oh, dude. And they'd get in the car. This particular one, we rode with them. So we're in the van. We drive all the way down there. We're riding back. They stop at the gas station. They get Mikey's mom a couple road pops. She's driving back. She starts drinking in the car. And we're coming back.
Giving it to him in the car on
and
the way
it's
back.
getting worse and worse and worse. She's drinks, pops another one open. Mikey, that match, you sure didn't try that hard. And she's just giving it to him the whole freaking 3.5 hour drive home.
Slurs getting worse.
She's getting tanked in the backseat of the van, just giving her 9-year-old the shit of a lifetime.
And what did he end up doing? Nothing? He just shut down?
He would just sit there, man, and take it. And you'd see him at the next practice, and he would just next practice.
Give it to you.
It's like he just beat the shit out of me. He just pissed.
He's like, I ain't going to lose again.
And
I
he
sure
was
ain't going to lose to you.
Yeah. Well, he knew he wasn't going to lose to me, but he went like 60, 65. I was like 45 pounds.
Oh,
That's a huge difference.
it's like 4 weight classes.
It's a
above
ton
you.
of weight. Yeah, when you weigh 47 and someone weighs 65, that's like 50% increase of your body weight. It's being like, I weigh 120 and I'm going to wrestle this 180-pounder in a competitive match.
Yeah.
And the way that they did our practices was, this was that travel team I told you guys about, where it was like 18 or 20 of us in the room, and 11 of them ended up winning national titles.
Wow.
In college, D1.
That's
and
impressive.
It was nuts. And there's certain dudes that you're like, that guy's crazy. And then you're like, oh, he just went to prison for 3 years. Like, he was freaking crazy.
But he could wrestle.
He got second in national, or he got second in NCAA, and then he did time. And then he came out, and he was much nicer. But he was huge.
I can understand.
Huge. But anyway, we were in, it was like doing that whole group with those types of things. And then it's like, circle all the way back to, it's like, how can you mentally keep your head in the game of life when it gets really shitty and things get tough? And it's like, I'm not physically in any pain right now.
Yeah.
So this is just the same as any mental struggle I was dealing with while having a kid lay on my chest and squeeze my neck as hard as he can.
That's true.
While his
Can't
dad's
breathe.
going, kill him, and my dad's going, don't you quit.
And he smells like BO.
Yeah, head and arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got hit in the head and arm 3 times in the finals of this one tournament. It was like 1 minute periods. And it was like, I started, Mikey's dad was, Coach, Zach, don't you get caught in that head and arm. I'm fine. Bam, head and arm on my back. I can kind of see the clock, 48 seconds left. Oh, God.
That's a long way. That's an eternity, bud.
Oh, yeah, it's a long, and we are a long way from home. similar situation. I'm not trying to get the Mikey treatment the whole way
ain't
back.
no doubt about it.
About Mikey's mom.
Yeah, she didn't go on this trip, but like my kryptonite was getting head and armed. I'd run legs as a 7-year-old and get head and armed in the finals and get beat like every freaking time. They'd be like,
God.
so that's why I hate the head and arm. But yeah, man, he did. Second period, started on our feet. He goes, "You know it's coming. You know it's coming." I'm good. Bam, 52 seconds. Try not to get pinned.
Did you?
It's the
Nope.
longest.
Oh, you got
Well, I was
that.
going into this match, and I'm going. They were giving away T-shirts if you won your weight class. Like you go up, pick your T-shirt,
Everett.
they'd screen print it for you. I never got T-shirts. So we were like poor as hell. Like we'd like, roll into town on like we'd take like change to get gas to go to the wrestling tournament.
got you.
And so we never had to buy a shirt. Like, are you kidding me? So I was like, I'm getting a shirt in the finals, baby. Yeah. First period, head and arm to my back. I was like, not getting pinned. Because I made an off-colored comment to my coach that he didn't think was very funny. He said, "Come on, get out there. We're going to get you that shirt. Today's the day you're winning. You're winning it." I was like, "Hell yeah, I am." I said, and he was like, "We're doing it." And I said, "Yeah." We were looking at the trophies, and I said, "Even if not, man, that second place trophy is huge."
Oh, God. He didn't like that.
Because I was like, "Oh yeah, first place, second trophy. They're both like this tall. First place, second
Still look
place.
good in the ring.
I'll be good." Yeah, and he was like, "If you get pinned in the finals, I'm taking the trophy. I'm gonna smash it in the parking lot." I'm like 8 years old. I'm like 7.
Like,
7
come
years
on.
old. I was like, oh. So that I get freaking head and arm on my back like 12 seconds in the match, and he's going, "You know what I told you?"
It was like major bridge, roll
Don't
out.
you quit! Don't you quit!
What ended up happening?
T-shirt.
So I ended up getting up after the first period. I'm down 5-0. You know, take down 2 back points, and then get choked out for 45 seconds. Second period, same thing happens. Pretty much 52 seconds. I can see the clock.
Oh.
I'm on my back again. He's same thing. "Don't you quit. You know what I told you." Third period, that son of a bitch freaking head and armed me again, dude. I made it like to 40 seconds left in that one, and that sucker hit me again.
Darn.
And
That was his move.
yeah, it was just his move. And a lot of times, at least around us, was like they just would teach kids the head and arm because
It's simple.
if you can hit it, you get a kid, you're laying on his chest, and you've got his head and his
That's
arm
right.
tied up, that kid's going to quit. And so people would, in programs, would be notorious for it. There'd be certain ones where it's like, "Oh, it's freaking so-and-so. Here comes, every kid's going to throw a head and arm. That's all they're going to do."
Yeah.
And there were coaches that would run a program based on that to keep their numbers up.
Sure.
It's easy to keep kids involved when they go to a tournament and they pin their way through tournaments. You're not getting them ready for high school or anything at that point, but you're building confidence and you're
Yeah.
keeping your program up. So that we would run into those things all the time, and it was like, "You know it's coming, and I'd just be a sucker for it. We did a lot of tie-ups, so they were teaching us to like do like collar tie-ups at 7 and 8. And not a lot of kids did that with intent to shoot and score. Kids did it and hit head and arms. And so they would tell us, like, tie up, stay out of that head and arm. Well, sometimes when you're 7 and you're like, mat time is important, right? Well, when you're getting your mat time and you're
Yeah.
like, all right, I've been taught to tie up, and the world's spinning really quickly.
Yeah, it's like
And people are yelling and yelling and yelling. You're like, all right, what do they tell me to do? Tie up. And you go to tie up, and then you're like, shit, I'm on my back.
quick.
That was quick. And then you're hearing, "Don't you quit, you idiot. I told you not to get hit in that move." You're like, I know, I'm sorry. They used to just I remember after that when they took me back, and for the whole week, my practice was, Mikey, hit Zach with a head and arm. "All right, Zach, now get out." And they just let Mikey lay on my chest.
Oh,
until
you had to figure it out.
they'd make, yeah.
That's the only way to do it, right?
Yeah, but like I said, being held down in a position, that's about as mentally excruciating as you could generally see. It's like 8, 7, laying down,
Yeah.
a kid squeezing the tar out of you, and you can't really breathe. But when that's your earliest barometer of stress, it's a high barometer for a stress level. It's
Yeah.
physical and it's mental.
I think that's why a lot of people don't like to wrestle, right? Because they don't like people on top of them. They don't like people touching them and grabbing them, right? Kind of be forceful, and it takes a special person to be a wrestler. Honestly,
definitely.
it really does.
It's a big mental game, really. I mean, you have to
Totally.
be okay with it a lot. You have to be okay with it a lot.
Yeah.
I tell Everett, when you go out there, you have to kind of think like, okay, I'm today's version of a gladiator. Like,
Exactly.
and that's really how I kind of put it into terms with him. I think it's starting to make more sense to him. His game is mental. He has the capabilities, but
Yeah.
Yep.
it's like that for a lot of kids too. They're very strong. They're very quick, fast. But they got mental blocks. Don't want to take this shot. Don't want to mess up here. Oh, I don't want to get on my get down in my base because I don't know if I can hit the knee slide out type of deal.
right.
But,
That's right.
Yeah, I used to be like real lazy about it too, where I'd be like, I know this guy's not going to shoot on me. Maybe I got to shoot. And I'd be like, I'll just wait and shoot with like 12 seconds left.
Yeah.
That way, if I take a crappy shot, then I can probably hold him off, not give up the takedown.
Yeah.
But then I put myself in that situation a lot of times, and it's like, all right, now there's 12 seconds left in the third period, and you're down 1. And
Yeah,
this guy's
that's the
good,
problem.
Yeah.
And this guy's serious. This isn't
Yeah.
just like, So that's where I used to get caught. Lost a lot of matches by 1 or 2 or 3.
I mean, we saw that.
Shooting down 1 and getting taken down.
We went to Campbell and saw Campbell against Gardner Webb and Campbell against Nebraska. And we saw that too. Same kind of thing, hard wrestling, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you just be down 1 point, 2 points.
Yep.
And I mean, there was one match in particular that this guy was down 2 points with like a minute to go, minute and a half to go. And it, the coaching staff was over there yelling at him to shoot, do something. And like nothing. I mean, you're down. You're in a collegiate match. You got to try to do something right. That he's the one up. He's not going to make the mistake, right? You got to make something happen, and so it happens at every level, right? Even at 5 years old, right? It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 25. It's kind of the same challenges, right? You're just older.
But yeah,
bigger.
you get like the college, you got that kicker too of the riding time. So if he's down 2 and the guy's got a minute of riding time, now he's really down 3. Like even if he gets a takedown, he's actually got to do a takedown or release and a takedown again to actually be up 1 to get the tie at the riding point.
At least get some back points. Something.
Yeah, or a turn, quick like a tilt turn, 2-point backs or something. Yep. You made a comment, I think you texted to us about the Nebraska guys being jacked, loaded up top, having these tiny little waists and little legs.
Legs. Like
they missed leg
legs.
day, 100%.
That's the Midwest, dude.
But they absolutely doubled up on upper body.
Yeah.
I never seen nothing like
wrestling,
that.
like to a T.
They
Like
were-
Midwest and the Plains.
There was one guy who was like 174. I said, Chrissy, look at this guy.
174 filling out every bit of an extra large.
I couldn't
sweatshirt.
even believe it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they were all
They're
buff.
serious, dudes.
Yeah.
They're serious.
And there was a couple of guys at Campbell, like a couple of guys from Alaska that were built pretty good.
Yeah.
The heavyweight actually did win against the Nebraska guy, which was
He was a
impressive.
stud there.
But there was a couple. There was like 3 or 4 from Campbell that were, you could tell, spent some weight room time, right?
Yeah.
But not
And they were
Nebraska
the whole
level.
team in Nebraska.
But you could tell.
That Big Ten, man.
Yeah.
They're just stacked. They just
It
have
was
so
crazy.
much depth.
Yeah.
I
Different
mean-
level. Different level.
Yeah.
And I
Campbell's a serious NCAA program. In
Oh,
wrestling,
100%.
for sure.
For
Not
sure.
to take
100%.
anything away from them. It's a difference in the money in the college. Like
Yeah.
you think for a second that Nebraska's wrestling program isn't benefiting a little bit by proxy of all the other major sports programs
Yeah.
and strength and
Yeah.
conditioning and all those programs that they've developed.
I agree with that.
So that wrestling program probably gets to dip into those resources, which you got at Campbell. Just less of those resources.
I did think
Yeah.
Campbell's cardio was on par with
Yeah,
Nebraska's, no question about that.
Yep.
I did think. I just thought that I haven't looked at it that way about benefiting from the strength coach, but I think you're right.
Yeah,
I
nutrition,
think
too.
that is a little
That's
bit
the
of
biggest
difference.
thing.
Yeah, nutrition,
Stuff like that.
nutrition with the strength and conditioning coaches. They're like, hey, you do this for the football team. We want it for wrestling, and we don't give a snot about how strong our calves are because we're not running the ball.
No, they were huge.
That's how the thing in the Midwest, and like I count Nebraska kind of as the Midwest, I guess.
It's still Big
The
Ten school,
Plains,
right?
It's
yeah,
over
Big
there.
Ten, but it's very small waist and very broad shoulders.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
they
Would be
had-
they're just hard people to, and that's what would generally rise. That was the cream body style. You would get guys that were straight up and down that could do it, but once you got to the higher levels, it was almost like you needed that V pattern from your shoulders to your butt to make it to actually really like go to the next level.
Yeah. Well, you could tell that. I thought, and I told Channing that it was yesterday. I thought Campbell and Nebraska's wrestling style was very similar, right?
Yeah.
And but I think that it was. And look, all these matches were really close with them, right? But it just got that. I think that strength that Nebraska had put them over the edge, getting a point here, a point there, and kind of made a difference, right?
Yep.
But
A lot more walk-ons at Nebraska.
yeah,
A lot more top caliber walk-ons that'll just go there and take a
Yeah.
chance that may not roll
sure.
out.
But I was impressed.
Being a state school and stuff. But
To be honest with
yeah,
you,
sweet.
that little
Still
school
good.
there in Bowie's Creek, the fact they had the couple of brothers from Alaska, they had kids from all over, right? Pennsylvania too, I think Iowa, but they got some kids from all over that I was impressed. Obviously Campbell's got some top kids that are doing well in NCAA tournaments, so it's
they got hammers, too.
their notoriety, it's getting better and better, and it's paying off.
for sure.
No, but I like the college wrestling scene. It's getting
too.
cool. It's getting a little bit more abundant.
Yeah, I like it. The thing I really dislike the NIL stuff specifically for wrestling.
I got you.
Like, oh God, I'll draw a blank. The dude, the heavyweight last year that was like going through the paces for his senior year, junior year, or whatever. Is like his last thing, and he's killing everybody. And he's already signed to like the WWE
Yeah,
to do that.
I know
Like
what you're
after,
talking
I
about.
can't remember his
gotcha.
name. I think it was Minnesota. I can't believe I'm screwing that up. Super popular guy, but he went and won the Olympics as like a sophomore in college, maybe, and then he's just mega. So then he like he did one more season, and it was really just like he really didn't. There was no real point for him to actually do a college season because he was
Just a
killing
milestone.
everyone, but he did it anyway. But he was like already signed to like WWE, and you're like, I don't know. It's like,
I'm
come on,
impressed
man.
with the collegiate wrestling.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sweet. Like if you
Yeah.
follow follow the top of it and really get into it, man.
Yeah.
It's super exciting to me. I like it better than like UFC and things like that. Even like
Oh yeah.
it's a little bit more disciplined. And now that you can get it all on the internet, like
Oh yeah, with
good
all the
God,
streams
it
and
was
stuff. That's
impossible
Yeah,
to
nice.
Flow
find
Wrestling.
stuff 15, 20 years ago. Just
Yeah.
that for all sports is just awesome.
Well, and some of that stuff's getting on like ESPN too and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like Nebraska and Kimball was on ESPN too.
Oh,
the
was
other
it?
Night. Yeah.
Yeah, ESPN 2, ESPN Plus, something like that. But
At least
I
on
think
the
that
U,
state, App State, we went and saw them. That was on ESPN too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they were having TV timeouts and everything.
That's exciting. Kind of get a broader spectrum. And speaking of that, the women's wrestling for high school this year.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That
yeah.
is
Have you heard about
awesome.
that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Having a women's states, that's nuts.
Women's
Sure.
regionals, women's states, and then next year, if North Lenoir especially can get just a couple of more, they have enough for a team,
I
and
think they have to have 6.
yeah.
6 to qualify.
Yeah, and
for,
I
like,
think
team
next year
scores.
they had their own.
That's not bad.
They had their own women's team, women's matches. So they're not wrestling guys, right?
Right.
They're wrestling a whole women's slate.
That's a
It'd be
whole
great.
new ball game. Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
especially when you're taking novice, like beginner
Yeah,
girls at the high school level. Yeah, not having to wrestle dudes is
I think we got a couple from the Grange Wrestling Club that's coming up to North Lenoir next year.
yeah. Angel Stole.
Yeah, her in
Yeah.
particular.
She's one, especially I think that like just it hasn't mentally clicked for her yet
Yeah.
in the novice.
Yeah.
But like she does things naturally that you're like, oh my God, you don't even realize that thing you just did. Do that more often. That was great. Like
doubt.
she just doesn't. I think it's just a mental click.
A lot of them have like a lot of body awareness.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
the stuff you can't tell. Like how I call it
Yeah.
falling correctly.
Yeah,
they just
and-
fall well.
Yeah.
sometimes, like I try to teach the high schoolers, like you don't necessarily have to break everything down into moves. Sometimes you just got to grapple and scramble until you can figure out, okay, now I can use a move, and
Yeah.
that's the difference. Like that takes your game so much further.
Yeah, for sure. We were trying to do some of that with them a little before I got tied up with work stuff, but like situational starts.
Mm-hmm.
So like, all right, we always suck at letting people get in on our leg too much, and then we never do a crossface. So we're gonna let a partner have a leg, and then you're gonna start with a crossface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go from there, and then switch and switch and switch and switch.
I always thought Channing was the king of crossface when he was wrestling at North Lenoir. He could throw the crossface now.
Little crooked noser.
I loved it,
Yeah,
frankly.
I got
I'm a
me one
huge fan of
too.
it. Yeah.
Good times.
That's all right.
Trying to get Everett in there.
Yeah.
That's what Tom.
He's a pretty boy.
He's a little timid on
rearrange
that.
the nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's easy. Just don't make it smack when you get there, but break it once you're there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when you do this, it can't smack, but once you're on it, you can push as hard as you freaking want to.
Well, we've got some kids at the wrestling club that'll throw the crossface
Throw
a
a
little
nice
bit.
one?
Yeah, even some of
Oh,
the small
yeah.
kids.
I
I'll be
love
like, hey, throw the crossface, and you'll see them. I mean, they're not throwing it, but you can see they're putting their hand
Put
in.
the hand there and go.
Yeah.
That's all you need, man. Crossface.
Good
Get a
times.
hold of that tricep.
Yeah, yeah. A little
the
crossface and a
forearm.
wizard, man. Yeah, like that too. Just chinning.
Yes.
Chin 'em back.
Yes.
Any
Why
pain.
not?
Head in the back of the head.
Yeah. Place it there and make it uncomfortable.
Make it uncomfortable.
I love that. Was my
Make them
favorite thing
think about the pain.
wrestling. Yeah.
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 I was like tiny in school at a basketball school, and like everyone made fun of me for being like this tiny kid, and then I loved going to wrestling at the end of the day and just like thumping kids. Like it just was my favorite thing ever.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I
been
love
one of
it.
our. That's what we tell people. Chrissy's a big advocate, but wrestling is for everybody, right? You don't have to have a football body. You don't have to be 6'9" to play basketball,
Anything.
right? You don't have to be that. There is a weight class and an age bracket for everybody,
Yep.
right? Even from being at K4, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pre-K, all the way up to high school, and there's weight increments all the way up depending on where you're at in that progression. But it's, to be honest with you, it's anybody can wrestle.
Yep.
And, you know, I think that's what we love about the club. You got some kids that had no idea that they could even do that, right?
Yeah.
And then you got some kids that are like, they might not really want to wrestle in school, but they want to do something like Shannon was saying earlier. And so this just gives them an avenue to kind of break out of a little shell they were in and go, you know what, I could do this. I got a little more self-confidence.
Right.
I'm doing something activity-wise, and I'm learning another sport, and that's going to help me down the road. So to us, it's a win-win.
Just all like the hand-eye coordination, the foot skills and balance and stuff. Like if you think that you might want to be a collegiate football player and you don't do anything in the wintertime, you may as well wrestle and just suck at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make you better at playing football.
Footwork.
And the guy that's going to sign you to the college deal cares that you wrestled.
They want
They
more than
want
one
to
sport.
see it.
Accolades.
Yep.
Always
Specifically
accolades.
wrestling, like
Yeah.
for footballers. Like Warren Sapp was like a 1 or 2 time state champ heavyweight in Florida. Like
Well, it's body
they go
awareness.
forever. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
you know where every part, when you wrestle, you know where every part of your
Leverage.
body is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leverage. You're used to getting touched,
Yeah.
pushed, like that. Did that for you. Yeah, you used to have people having their hands on you because, like you said, there's some kids that don't.
That's true.
My oldest might be into wrestling, but as soon as someone puts their hands on her, she's like, "No, this is not for me. I don't like being moved around."
Yeah.
So, you know, something to be said of how you react when you're getting pushed and when you're a big guy, specifically linemen. We're talking about you.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you're that big and you're in college or you're in high school and you're in some piddly little high school team and you're the biggest dude on the team, you're never getting pushed and shoved in ways as not being the A person.
Big fish in a small pond.
Yeah, so it helps you to wrestle and get pushed around by kids that know wrestling that may be bigger than you that come from other schools because you're going to learn how to get pushed backwards.
Yeah.
If you're the biggest guy in your school, you're not getting pushed backwards ever.
Yeah, and a couple of examples of that: Eliza Swinson, Chris Russell, Cooper Cromer.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were all 3 big offensive and defensive linemen. They all 3 wrestled.
Yep.
And
They were all
it helped them
they're
I
very
feel like
good.
it helped them a lot.
Yeah.
You know, not that they weren't something special to begin with, but
Yep.
you know, the wrestling really put it in place.
Without
for 'em.
question.
Yeah,
Helped them
extra.
be
Made
a
'em
little
more
bit
athletic.
Mobile.
Yeah, not even counting conditioning.
Yeah.
Good
Oh, God, yeah.
We used to love the football players talking about how in shape they were, and then they'd come to practice because we'd be wrestling all year round. And like,
We had the
Andy, we're gonna
exact
kill
same
you.
thing.
Yes.
This summer,
I
matter of
love
fact. That's
Yeah,
North Lenoir
loved it.
football players want to come out, and the next thing you know,
It's a whole
I mean,
different thing,
you're
man.
only giving them a taste of practice, right?
Oh,
An
yeah.
hour.
Not even going
You're not even
live,
giving them
yeah.
2.5 hours.
it's like drill for 40 minutes. And they're like,
And they're dying.
Jeff's got them in there for like 3.5.
that's what I like.
Yeah,
running them
I mean,
hard.
the high school is a whole nother level
Yeah.
than what we're giving them, right? We're scratching the surface with what the cardio really is, you know.
Yep, for sure. That's fun.
Good.
What else you guys got going on? How's things going in La Grange, the major
LaGrange
metropolis?
is actually growing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, be honest with you, we got 3 subdivisions happening right now. 400 houses in the next 4 years, I think, totally.
New ones.
We've got we're in the process of, and I'm on the council, so I tell people all the time, infrastructure's not sexy, right? But it's necessary for growth and for longevity of the town. So we've got water, sewer getting replaced. Streets in the town haven't been the best in the world, right? But we can't, every 11 years, I think it is, the state comes and will pave all the roads
State
with lines
roads.
on them, right?
Okay.
So we haven't wanted them to pave it because paving is so expensive that we don't want to pave it, tear it up to replace the water sewer, and then have to pave it back.
Yeah.
So water sewer lines are getting replaced. Be new streets in town. We've got a plant called, I think it's PPG, which it does some things with boilers for energy credits. That's going to help us out with the town. Expanding the water sewer treatment plant. Doing this with the wrestling club, which hopefully is going to lead to an expansion of the athletics that we once had, to be honest with you. LaGrange had a lot going on.
We'd really like to
But
get that back.
we want to bring that back, right?
Yeah, you don't want kids and families to have to drive to like Goldsboro or
Yeah.
Kinston to just do like rec league youth sports. Like,
Wow.
I will tell you, the council approved the construction of 2 football soccer fields.
Nice.
Over by Frank Middle School. We own some property there.
And like right in front of LaGrange Elementary.
No, we switched that. It's over. We own a field that's like in front of Frank on a cut road.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to put. We've got 2 of those, a practice area, and we're going to put a like a rock a parking area. The crazy part is, I've lived in LaGrange my whole life. We have never had our own football field ever.
Really?
Yeah, we've gone to Wayne County and Duplin County to play.
Frank has a
Yeah,
football
but
team?
not like a town football.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
soccer
Soccer
rec
field,
league
right?
field.
So like,
Okay, I got you.
even when Channing was playing and Eric, all the kids for LaGrange Bulldogs would have to go play at Holloway or Fairfield.
Oh, yeah.
Never had a place of our
feel
own.
that.
So part of what we're doing with the town, we're giving them an opportunity to practice at their own football field. We're going to have it football/soccer, right? We had the dual goalposts.
Yeah, goalpost. Yeah.
And so we're going to try to team up with Summers Academy in Goldsboro, which is huge in the soccer. Guys got a humongous program. Try to team up with them, get some things going here. Once we get it all made, get with the Lenoir County Recreation Department and say, hey, we want to have some games here. Give our kids in our town a little bit of pride in our youth sports. Build it back up. That's the goal.
You know, future thinking, you could have like soccer tournaments out there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really big with the Summers guy. You know, he puts on a lot of clinics. That's a huge little organization that he's started. Kids from all over come to learn from him. I mean, he's a super great guy. Comes into the shop, sit down and talk with everybody, super friendly. So,
You got to bring some stuff to look. You know, to be honest with you, LaGrange is growing and is
about to
going to
explode,
continue to grow. We've got organizations in town that are helping out. Engage LA, Change for LaGrange. The Chamber of Commerce has really put the best foot forward on the Harvest Spot Festival, which is basically like a replacement of the old garden spot. I think they hit a grand slam when they did the Harvest Spot at Halloween. And every
that was
year
awesome.
it's bigger and better, right? Had a band, had some jump houses. It's just expanding more and more. And trying to put LaGrange on the map. I think 1,500 kids this past time.
That's crazy.
It's
you
crazy.
get a chance to go out to Halloween night?
No, I saw you guys,
Dude,
saw
it
the
was
pictures.
good.
Yeah, Engage
I
LA
scared
had
some of you right now watching. I scared you.
what?
People in the room. I scared them at the Halloween night.
He did do that.
I like that.
Had a little haunted house. That was
got
not
him.
Yeah,
great,
it's-
man.
I heard you guys were like amazed at how many people came through too. Like the turnout was
was a
ridiculously
lot.
sick.
I'm gonna tell a story real quick. So
Yeah,
I had one
that's
guy
good.
walk in with 2 of his little kids. I mean, they were little. And I crept up on him because I was behind like this little piece of plastic. And I pulled back and I kind of ran up there and I got right in his ear and I was like, "Rah!" And he was like, "Shit," just like that. And he pulled out his phone. I don't know why, but he was looking at it. He's like, "I didn't even see that mother coming." Just
Oh, he was
that.
like recording himself going through.
Oh, what was it, a little
That's great.
Snapchat or whatever they call it?
But it was good. It tickled me, but.
That's funny.
We had a good time.
Yeah,
It
that's
was really
sweet.
good. It was fun, and I think you got Ryan Riley, who's got Riley's Home and Gardens. He's got cook-offs all the
yeah.
time. Steak. Next weekend, he's got a whole hog cook-off. He's
Yeah,
selling
this is coming
plates.
Saturday, the 14th,
Yeah, that's
right?
going to be fun. Had steak a month and a half ago,
Yeah,
2
it
months
came out
ago.
right
Had a steak cook-off, and so he's constantly bringing something. I know he's making a like a little grill, like a drive-in, where you can just drive up.
Yeah, like a L's or whatever.
Yeah, it's exactly what he was
that
doing
would
it
be
for.
cool.
Yeah, and he's gonna have like shrimp burgers, all kind of stuff. We got Bill's Grill downtown, obviously the old staples,
spot.
Little J's, Mama Nim's, Murray's if you want buffet. But we got a lot of good restaurants in town. If you just give them a shot, some people coming that are going to invest in some downtown buildings. I think the goal is kind of like it is here in Kinston and Goldsboro. Have a business open up the top floors of these buildings for. Like loft apartments, that kind of stuff. Just kind of bring more and more to the town. I know there's another business that's coming over in the like same where we are with Inkables and the Dollar General and all that. Somebody had bought a piece of property to build like a 10,000 square foot retail business. A lot going on in town. A lot
We
going on.
got
That's a big building.
that other new retail building by the. Well, they didn't just build it, but they just moved in there beside the church in front of where the BB&T was. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the
I can't
women's
remember.
fashion shop.
Yep, there's
It's like right at the light.
a new
Right at the
fashion
light,
shop
right.
right across the street from the old BB&T Truist Bank. I can't
It's
remember
like
her
a-
name. She's got like a clothing store and something with that.
New nutrition shops, all
Yeah.
in there. You really just got to look and ask around, you know,
It's a lot
LaGrange.
going on.
Follow
town.
Engage LA.
Yeah, following Engage.
That's how I've
LA,
been
that's-
Following
figuring out
Engage
all the
LA.
new buildings,
That's
or
a
all the
perfect way to
businesses.
keep up with it. Perfect way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely stop in and eat at Bill's Grill though. They're really good food. A couple of friends of ours, Michelle and Hunter, very nice people. They help out
Yeah.
a lot with Engage LA.
Sure
a
do.
lot.
Nice.
I would say that's growing even more. I think there's a mother-daughter dance that's coming. I mean, a father-daughter dance rather that's coming up in January. I think next weekend there's going to be, was that the 14th?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
this
We're
Saturday
going to have a
14th.
movie in the park. We'll
Nice.
have Frozen there, and so that's
Yeah,
something.
like Saturday, you spend your whole day there. Go out, catch a little cookout,
100%, and then go
watch
see a movie tonight.
stroll home. Kids are asleep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're going to have even some Frozen characters there this time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to see Frozen on Ice and get you out there.
You
no,
won't
you
see me on a
don't.
pair of
No, you
skates
don't.
ever.
It's just like the haunted house. It's the same.
Yeah.
What,
game.
getting scared?
What,
It'll be
scary?
neither one be getting scared on ice
Being
skates.
terrified,
Yeah.
legs quivering.
Oh,
like
no doubt.
Like a long stick out there.
You
wobbling
guys
around.
never been? You guys been ice skating before?
Never.
I've been
never?
ice skating one time. I
Never.
fell
You're like,
a
no.
few times.
I cut out the whole skating part when I used to fall all the time and get the breath knocked out of me at the skating rink.
I hate it.
I'm over that.
Yeah. I like bringing that up. Like, gave me PTSD. I like forgot what it's like to get the wind knocked out.
It's
of you.
terrible.
Dude, it's the
Such a
worst.
horrible
And
feeling.
then I look on TikTok and I see these, this old school coming back to these old guys that are
roller
going
rinks.
back and they're skating and they're moving their
yeah.
legs in and out. And I'm like, how are you even doing that, dude?
Yeah.
Never.
How have we come all the way back to that? You know what I mean?
Well, it's what
It's every 30 years, isn't it?
It's what comes around
Mullets,
goes
too.
around.
You
Yeah,
see
the mullets.
kids
Yeah, the
in
mullets
middle
are
school got
strong.
Mullets on.
Baseball
80s
players.
colors.
The little
I'm kind of feeling like I'm back at home again. Look, I've always said if I could go back to 1985, 13 years
I'm
old,
saying
Like
we're almost
Mason
rolling
Chuck
back up
Taylor.
on my day.
give me good times.
Yeah, we're only like 8 or 10 years away from my time. The 90s are on the doorstep, dude.
Yeah, 90s kids.
Oh Lord,
90s are where it's at.
have you ever seen the
They're
thing?
already
where-
doing the kicks, man.
Well, have you ever
back.
seen the thing where they would roll up the pants, the jeans?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. There used to be a club behind Galaxy of Sports called the Hideaway.
Good.
All right,
Good name.
and it was like a teen club. And I had my best friend was Walt Eubanks, and he could do it today if I asked him. He could roll his jeans so tight. It was impossible for him to come apart. Like you couldn't pull them apart, right? He just had the formula. That's coming back. People rolling their jeans up again.
Rolling them
I
up.
said something to him the other day. I said, "Dude, it's coming back." I said, "You're gonna be the king when it all kicks back again."
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, the
He'll be
kinda
out there with the
high
finger
water
pistols.
Was so good. Other than that, man, nothing else is happening in LaGrange other than it's just growing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got like some core pieces in place. It just sounds, it's time to just let the folks keep supporting them and let them grow and let them kind of reap the benefits of their investments. Like your Bills Grills type of folks and things
Yeah.
like that. They made the investment. They're there now. They're continuing to invest not just money into the town, but time into the town and ideas and concepts and things like
100%.
that.
Time and
That's-
effort's big.
I had to be
Yeah.
honest with you. We got our
big.
town council and town manager is fantastic. They really support what's happening, the growth in the town. Right, we're trying to make the best decisions we can for the town, and it's slow going, right? But once you get the infrastructure in, and we can see right now with the houses coming, they're literally building like 9-10 houses a month, and so it's really going quick, and
And they're nice sized houses. Most of them are like what, 4-bedroom? Generally?
Yeah, 3 and 4 bedroom,
3 and 4,
between
yeah. 3 at the
15 and
loft.
3,000 square feet. I mean, it's just a montage of all kind of
Bring
different.
those to Kinston investors.
Keep them in
please.
LaGrange.
Yeah, I mean,
We wanna
nice.
grow,
It's
right?
Nice for me,
Keep
too.
painting walls gray and white and quit with the yellows and all the bright colors, please. We would appreciate it. All people not from here.
It's good.
Yeah, it's
You guys have a
exciting.
bunch of
We're happy
yellow
with
walls
it.
to the house. Did I get you?
Hey, we did cut.
We did have some colored walls. I mean, the living room at his house is all red.
Where?
Yeah.
At your house?
That was burgundy though. That's not like
it's
bright red.
red.
Ain't blood
It's
red or
red.
nothing.
Yeah, that's an 80s thing.
Yeah.
Burgundy.
Hey, don't get Mama all ticked off.
They got a yellow toilet. I've never seen that other than
Oh,
that.
that's old
Grant's
school.
got a yellow toilet and yellow tile too.
Well, you know, they had the yellow,
whole
they had a yellow, blue, avocado green,
Yeah,
pink.
some
Those were
weird
my
colors.
favorites.
Yeah, that's the bathrooms of Kinston. If you look, so whoever we
Oh,
joke about-
70s, man.
Well, it's
60s.
just like whoever was doing the tile at that time. It was
Yeah.
like one crew because they did all the bathrooms over here, like around the country club. I think those were like the pool buildings that he was building a bunch of when he was developing a lot of the land.
But that was the thing then.
Yeah, it was the jam. But like, what's funny is like maybe 5 or 10 years ago, you'd buy that and go and just bust it all out. Now like light pink and turquoise
It's
and
like
like
cool.
Everybody's
It's
like,
that
whoa.
kinda like,
yeah, like we'll get around to it, I guess. But you're not like, oh God, look at that. Like maybe 10 years ago, you'd be like, oh my God, we're not doing this.
I can't believe
But now
they
you're like,
still had this in
yeah,
here.
I can kind of rock with canary tile.
Yeah, but I don't know avocado refrigerator.
Yeah,
Refrigerator
not the
stove.
appliances.
I'm drawing the line at that.
Yeah, stainless or
Although
black
it
stainless,
is
that's
kind of the same thing, is because when these houses were built in the 50s and early 60s, they put hardwood floors in them, right?
Yeah.
And then people were putting carpet over the
15
top
years
of
later,
them.
they carpeted.
I have been guilty of that, but understand the worth of it later. Pull the
Now
carpet
they're
up, and
great.
you go, God, I love these hardwood floors.
Yeah.
And then now, the new home buyers are recognizing, God, we don't want carpet, right? I can't believe how great that hardwood floor looks, or they get engineered laminate or something, right?
Yeah.
That kind of looks similar to it.
Yeah, the old wood's coming back, man.
I love the old
hardwood.
wood, but
It's really good stuff.
I'm a wood guy like that. I really like wood.
Yeah, it's the character of that stuff. Like they don't make them like they don't make them like that anymore. But like they really don't.
They
make
really
it like
don't.
that anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It actually stays for like 90 years.
I mean,
Crazy.
when we started warehouse wrestling,
Oh, my God.
at Mom and Dad had a warehouse behind Travelers in the Grange.
It's like
and,
2,200 square feet.
Yeah, it was like,
Looks pretty much like a double wide with no windows.
Yeah.
It's like this.
and it had 1 inch or almost 2 inch. I think it's 2 inch oak floor in there, and it was a warehouse for lumber at the time. But like it's a tank, right? So, but that whole floor is nothing but hardwood. A lot of character,
cool.
right? A lot of nicks and all.
Yeah, there
this.
is. But if you sand it down,
It's nice.
Yeah, we just ran like a standard from like Lester's for upstairs.
to
and
do
just
the
went to
upstairs?
town. Yeah, it was pretty good. It doesn't like get everything because they're not perfectly level.
But you don't want it that way.
Yeah, it does a good job of like skimming the top off so you can get a good stain. And then there's spots that were like little dips that it didn't get, but like.
But ain't that the
Looks
character
fine.
of the whole thing? That's
Yeah.
just that's something to talk about, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely better than just lacquering over the dust.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's kind of nasty. But I'm with that on the carpet. We looked at a couple of houses that we didn't pick up in town, and like in every one that we would go in, we'd like wait till the realtor was around the corner, and we're like, pull that carpet up in the corner. And we'd pull it. Oh my God, this whole place has hardwood. Like, and this carpet is old, which means it's all going to be in like great shape. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't really move on any of them, but there's a lot of that around.
Oh, there's no doubt.
lot of it.
There's a lot of nice construction and old construction in
Yeah.
this town that people aren't taking advantage
That's
of.
what they don't even they sleep on because it's like it's taken for granted because they've been here for their whole time. But like coming from afar, like brick homes, they don't really deteriorate
No.
as long as people live in them. Like
Well, I mean, I
a
look
lot
at
of
Queen
nice-
Street, man. You go North Queen Street, right off of downtown, and on the left and the right, and I look at some of those old houses. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, the woodwork in those houses is crazy.
yes,
You couldn't get that woodwork. No, it would cost way too much.
yeah, you'd have like 7 Amish guys in there for like a month and a half,
Yeah.
and they'd kill you.
Having 7-piece crown in some of those houses.
Yeah.
No.
It's all etched in place. It's pretty sweet stuff. You guys have a lot of the Amish craftsmanship down here, or is that?
No, not really.
Nah.
Yeah, they like to make life hard on themselves. They stay where it's cold.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So in Ohio,
Nobody's bothering them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
is the
true.
truth. That is the truth. We like in Ohio, if you're building like a custom home, you could generally hook up with an Amish guy or family, and then they'll come out and do all your woodwork and your trim.
Oh,
stuff
man.
like
I
that.
saw a
It's
video of
pretty
them
cool.
build a barn in a day.
They're
It's like a
fantastic,
bunch of-
and it's the most ridiculous quality too. You're like, oh my
I'm
gosh.
sure.
Oh yeah, that's worth it for sure.
And generally like well priced, like not a cheap option,
Right.
but not paying like some general old white guys that have a bunch of expensive toys to do
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
They're very basic and
Well, that's
they're happy to be like, yeah, we have much lower overhead.
that's what I was gonna kind of add on to it. Like, we do stuff for pay. It's like a service we provide for a company or whatever. But those guys, like, that's just their way of life. Like, they take a lot of pride. Not to say that like we don't take pride or whatever, but they take a lot of pride in their way of life and what they're doing. So everything they're doing is definitely to the best quality.
It's quality.
as far as what they're doing.
Yeah, you never have to worry about one like pulling a fast one on you. You know what I mean? A good old Amish
Right.
guy, you're gonna be pretty
You're
alright.
like,
The old honest days work for honest days pay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just trying to get a new hat and suspenders. You know what I mean?
In a buggy.
I went as a this is a funny story. I worked at O'Charlie's when I was like coming out of high school. When I was being a major delinquent, and, like ruining my credit and stuff. I was like 19 or so. I worked at O'Charlie's. I don't know if you guys know what that is, like a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Well, at the time, they only had royal blue like button-up short sleeve shirts that you would wear, and that was like your uniform. So it'd be like black pants, black belt, black shoes, and like literally like royal blue short sleeve. Just exactly like an Amish person would wear. So my buddy and I don't some stupid thing, we started like growing mustaches or something. It wasn't anything like what I have now. I was still a child. And so we kind of like grew things out for a little bit. But anyhow, I just didn't shave. And so I had a little ratty little beard going. I just let it go. And then for Halloween, I just bought a hat and suspenders and then wore my work uniform.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like the most legitimate Amish freaking college. I mean, it was pretty legit.
Get good tips from it.
I don't know if I wore it to work because I probably like skipped work to go drinking.
I got you.
Like an idiot. But I know that we went to downtown and we were like walking to OSU's campus and it was, some competition.
Sure.
And I wasn't a naked chick, so like kind of tough to get eyes on you. It's Halloween at a major campus and
Dressed like Amish guy.
and you're an Amish dude, but like I'm telling you, it went very well. Like the amount of people that like stop me like, "Oh my God, did you see that? Is he like really Amish or is that like actually the costume?" I mean, it was like that legit. Like, did they just bring him down? Is he actually? It was pretty good. Hopefully I can find a picture of it and throw it up.
People are like, "Oh my God, he's out of his element."
Yeah, they're like,
Look at him.
"Yeah, where's your horse?" we wore it all day, like the whole freaking.
You really should just walk around like, I turned away from that life.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, I just quit. I defected this
Mom and Dad don't know. Yeah, I defected.
or whatever. They give them what's that thing that they give the kids?
It's like a
a
period of time.
1
where
year,
you
2
go
years.
and
I have no idea.
experience and come
Not
back.
Amish.
Is a name for it. Something Kippa or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. I literally just watched this in like
Kippa.
episode of like CSI.
There's a whole show about like the Amish kids that go out and then some of them go back and then they basically is like a documentary series about like these little factions or groups of Amish kids that are from the same general area getting together and doing their 1 or 2 years of like trying out the world.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you know about. Do you know about this? Like what it
No,
is?
I just kept thinking about there was something on one of those channels, the Amish Mafia. And when you started
that's
talking
good
about it, I
shit,
was like,
too.
oh my God, here we go.
Yeah, I like that show too. That's good stuff.
You did.
I don't really like a lot of shows, but I
Did
like.
you think that was legit?
No.
I don't think it's.
I
think it's just TV.
now the Moonshiners show. I like.
I did
The
like that.
Eastern Tennessee,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Western North Carolina mountains,
Lightning.
Moonshiners.
Oh, yeah.
I like. That's where my dad's.
Have you ever seen
family's from.
TikToks with corn? I can't think of the guy's name. I was going to say corn pop, but that's
Joe.
a whole nother
That's
story.
Sleepy Joe. Yeah.
But that's it's something like that where a guy's got a long beard and he just smokes cigarettes, drinks whiskey, and makes White Lightning all day.
I thought you were talking about Chris Stapleton for a second.
No.
Do you like?
Oh,
Chris
let me tell you a
Stapleton?
great Chris Stapleton story.
Hit me.
No, okay, we did love Chris Stapleton.
Yes.
We loved
did.
him. We really did. But then me and Channing went on a hike. How many days were we gone?
Like almost a week.
It was like 5 days.
5
Like when I mean
days,
no
something
cell
like that.
signal, I mean that's where we went. Like it was like on the other side of Robbinsville.
You were holding your phone up and it was saying, "Come on, bro."
If you would have gotten in trouble, it's a wrap, right? That's where we were. Yeah. And Channing had his phone, and it was like he had Chris Stapleton. He had some other things on it, right? But like the main thing, I was like, oh, this is Chris Stapleton at night, right?
2 albums, just 2.
2 hours. At the end of that trip, it was like I don't ever want to hear Chris Stapleton
Yeah,
ever
good.
again. I mean, never, dude.
We're
If
in the
I hear a
car.
song, it's straight turn. I don't want to hear Chris Stapleton.
My least favorite song to hear played at any establishment where I'm consuming a Mick Ultra is Tennessee whiskey. I want to shoot my head off. It'd come
can't take it.
on, all the middle-aged white women will stand up. Woo! I love Chris Stapleton. So no, you love Etta James. You know what I'm talking about?
From when she sang it first.
It's not the same words, but it's 100% the riff is a complete rip from an Etta James song.
Really?
You ripped the real
He
off?
totally stole it.
Oh, got you. He's made a mint on that.
Yeah.
He's turned his whole life on that
He
one
did.
song. Yeah,
The guy can't sing,
I got to find a song.
but every time I hear it, I think of Deliverance.
Blow
I'm
your
out.
head off.
I
Yeah.
don't want to deal with it anymore.
I can't stand him either. Like,
Deliverance, Wrong Turn.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a no go for us.
Yeah. I had a interesting Chris Stapleton story as well. I'd like to interject.
Go ahead.
We were in Indianapolis. I don't know if you've ever been to Indy. It's super fun downtown, but it closes early, and then there's like some speakeasies and stuff. So there used to be a big time speakeasy town during the Prohibition. Gangsters from Chicago and stuff would come down to Indianapolis to kind of, take it easy, get out of the busy life for a few days. So they come and chill in Indy.
Gotcha.
So anyway, we were down there for like a business event, like a little conference. Went to St. Elmo's, got the shrimp cocktail. Of course, you'll have to get that if you go there. Like it's like this old steakhouse, like again Prohibition style. Like they take you down in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
serve
Oh,
you.
shoot.
I mean, it's like top shelf. It's like a very well known steakhouse everywhere outside of Indy too. Shrimp cocktail is what they're known for. They have a big eating contest where Joey Chestnut goes
Oh, yeah.
to it. They try to eat as much.
Nathan's hot dog
It's
stuff?
got to ruin your bowels for days because they're
sure.
known for their horseradish, their cocktail sauce having so much horseradish that like it will clear you out, bro. Like
Man.
here and then there.
I don't think he's probably got a problem with that.
Yeah, I think he's pretty fluid, but so we went there, then we left there. We were like looking for a place to go drink. It's like a little industry, it's all these friends in 3D printing. It's kind of like one of those industries that people go out. So we go around, we find the spot, and we go down into it, and we go through all these things, and we open up, and it's like this old school spot. There's these two dudes on a like dimly lit stage playing, really cool like scene. And we sit in there, and they're playing, and we come walking in, and this girl that was with our group, she was probably about our age, maybe like in between our age. And so we walk in, and we've all been drinking and stuff because we worked all day. And then we walk in, and this band's sitting there, and they're like, and she walks in, and they're playing some song that she knows, and she goes, "Woo!" And they stop playing and immediately start giving her shit. Like we're not even like to our seat. There's only like 15 people in this whole spot, and we're 8 of them. So we like walk into this dimly lit dark room, and they're playing a song, and she goes, "Woo!" And they stop playing, and they were like, "We don't do that here. Like no wooing, no, yeah, no, just."
That's just the ambiance.
Just
They're just
chill.
playing music.
Yeah,
Content
just
with what
you
they're
just
doing.
chill here. You're obviously not from here.
Got you.
Yeah.
And
So we're
like-
going to set you
and
straight
she's
right
like-
out the gate.
Her dad and brother like own this major company, and she was their marketing person. She was going around with us, so not getting told that a lot.
Oh.
So
How
she
did that
kind of
end up
took it
going?
personal. So anyway, they start going. They play another song or two, and they stop, take a few drinks, and crack some inside jokes and laugh, probably at all of us. And then they go, well, we'll take some, ideas. Anybody got any songs you want us to play? And she goes, play Tennessee Whiskey. And they go, oh, Jesus, Jesus, girlie, we knew we didn't like you when you walked in with that woo. Now you want us to play Chris Stapleton. I tell you what, I won't play Tennessee Whiskey, but I'll play the song that he stole from Etta James to make himself famous. And then they
Oh.
played that song. And so they and that's how I learned about that.
What did she say about that?
She's like, I still like it, and it still sounds good.
Uh-huh.
But she had no clue about it either. But yeah, she's like, it was just like, white girl country lover walking into a saloonish type bar and being like, woo, play
She got
Tennessee
educated.
Whiskey, and they were like, shut up, we don't do that here.
She got educated on so many levels that day, didn't she? Yeah.
It was funny. And then they ended up being like, you're probably from like California, right? And she was like, yeah. And they were like,
We knew.
And they were just,
we had you pegged when you came in the door.
it was funny. It was a good time. Sorry, Emily. You're welcome. It was good stuff. Good stuff. But anywho, you guys got anything else you want to chat about? You got engaged. You got a big date set yet?
Yeah, I'm trying to. So
wanna get you in trouble.
we got some plans coming up, but I don't know if all that will come together or whatnot. So I won't talk on it. But if they do come together, we may push it back just a little bit if we feel like we can get things in line enough. But if not, we're going October 28th.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going on the honeymoon. yet,
Significance of the date?
but- No,
Just
random.
want a Halloween
Random.
weekend getaway. I like that. That's cool.
It's okay.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I just turned 50. He's 23.
Yeah,
Jesus.
years old.
My God. Where did the time go?
I did.
Everett's 17.
Yeah, Everett being 17 is what blows my mind the most because when I think of him or like talk of him in regard, like I think of like this little tubby kid, and now I like walk up or I go eat lunch with him. I'm like, who's this
Everett
guy?
Sparrow.
He's growing up,
Who's this
man.
guy in front of me?
Everybody's growing up. You know how it
It's
is.
crazy.
It's good.
I kind of bummed that, like, I was 5 years older than my brother, and then during those 5 years after I got out of high school, I wasn't given any craps about anything going on back at that house, and so I like completely didn't experience any of my brother's like high school.
I got you.
Ah,
Kind of missed out a little bit on that.
Yeah, I'm.
It's not like he was
6
like
years
he played
older than
volleyball and stuff. He wasn't like major. It wasn't like in sports and stuff, but like I never really hung out with him while he was like, there's a lot of you're changing a lot, and you're
Yeah.
going through, like all the stories that you tell are generally from your high school. I would never even like hung out with the dude like pretty much through those years. It's kind of weird.
I like it when
I was out wilding.
I like Shannon being close, and You know, him and Everett hang out a lot. Obviously, me and Shannon's coached a whole lot of years together, and
Oh my God.
and different sports, and it's, you know, I've coached Channing, God, since she was 5 years old, 6 years old.
Little kid.
You know, and in various sports, right? And
Followed me around when I played in school, at college.
Nice.
yeah, we
all
followed him
over-
around
all
all the
over
way
the
down
map,
Alabama. That was fun. You know, it was a good time. We super involved in that, and then, you know, I try to take a backseat role a little bit with Everett. I was kind of hard on Chan growing up. I just wanted the best for him, you know, and I didn't go about it the best way. But that's okay, right? You live and learn,
It's
like
all
we
good.
talked about, and so I take a more backseat role with Everett with the coaching aspect of it, and you know, it's Chan is really good with kids coaching, especially with his brother. He listens, and so it's good. It's good to watch for once, really.
Yeah, my dad did that same thing. He was like crazy nuts with me, and then
Yeah.
he was just kind of chilling with Grant for sure, not trying to push him into stuff. And
That's right.
mine was like, no options. You're
That's
going to
kind
do
of what
this.
that's kind of what it
Yeah.
was, Shannon. No option. You know,
But-
we've been a football family rather forever,
Oh my gosh.
and crazy, right?
Everett
and
destroyed that.
then Everett destroyed it. Everett like, bam, no, I don't want to play football. He tried it, right? Sorry, F, but he tried it, and then
He's not watching anyway,
But he's
so-
like, no, he won't watch it.
anyway.
But then he like latched on to wrestling, and like
Yeah, he did.
and so
Out of nowhere.
and then like he got good, right? And then with everybody that's involved, you, Logan, Channing, Jeff, everybody that's involved, like now that's like his thing, right? And so I do what I can. I'm a football coach, right? But I'm learning the wrestling more and more, and I just want to have an avenue for kids to come out and have a good time. And that's, you know, Channing's the head coach of the program. He does his thing, and I'm there. I'm there to support, right? So it's we just want to give back. And I tell him all the time, just give back to kids. If you don't do nothing else in your life, give back to people.
Yeah, for sure. It's at least it makes you feel good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just it feels right.
Isn't it weird being on the other side of the spectrum then? You get to see them, they're all tired, and you're like, yeah, I went through that. And I'm probably going to make you do more up-downs later.
Yeah, I had this kid from in Columbus. I like got my second wind of caring about I got like my life together a little bit and had like Steph and maybe both daughters by then. And I was like, had a job. I was like, man, I really want to get back in that wrestling stuff a little bit. So I like found a coach that I really like. I never wrestled for him, but I almost transferred to his school like for my senior year and then didn't. But I found him. He was like maybe 20-minute drive from me where I lived. So I started working out with them, and they had this kid on their team that was like, God, he was like, he worked so hard and he did all these things, but it was just a mental block kid.
Yeah.
And I was just like I just like locked in on him, man. It was just like, dude, you're freaking me. Stop beating yourself. Like, stop doing this crap where you lose for no reason. And but anyhow, man, we got up with him and started rolling around with him, and dude ends up freaking like he got big. Like he was like a 30-pounder, 35-pounder, something like that. He ended up blowing up to like 160, I think, as a senior. And
Nice.
ended up going to states, man, out of like Central District, Columbus.
That's
freaking
great.
D1. I mean, it's like awesome. That's the stuff that's cool. Is like I'd never made it to state, but being able to like get kids there
Welcome to
Yeah.
the
that
club.
like probably wouldn't have. I don't know. Like Nate maybe would have made it, but he might not have. It was all mental. How long would he have hit his head against that mental block?
Sure.
Would it have taken him all the way through his senior year without having something like that? But a lot of it was just like I bought a mat, put it in my basement, and just was like, dude, this is just what it takes. Like, this is just what it takes.
But that's how we started out with Everett, didn't
Yeah.
we? We bought a mat, and then we bought another mat, and we
Yeah, add 'em
partitioned the warehouse,
Load
and
up.
next thing you know, now we're in a
10 by
community
10
center.
tech mat.
Yep. Yep.
Me beating the crap out of him on it.
That's right.
Literally.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my dad would like every Saturday we would have a little get together. So like we would have a coach come over, and then I'd get however many kids I could get to join me. We'd all throw the coach $20, and he'd beat on us and he'd kill us till he got tired, and then he
Yeah.
would talk to us for another hour till he got tired of talking, and then he'd send us on our way. But it's like 4 or 5 hours on every Saturday morning, and then we get done with that, and my dad'd be like, I'm gonna need that grass mowed for that 20.
For
And
that
you're
20.
like, son of a
Yeah,
bitch, man! I
you-
just freaking worked out for 4 hours.
You thought it was free.
11:48, and
It's
he's
not.
like, before you get in that shower, why don't you just go ahead and knock out that grass? And you're like, golly, man!
I ain't even ate breakfast
I
yet.
was like, all right.
Look, I remember one time I had to push mow the yard, and one summer, Dad broke down and brought a riding lawnmower. I was like, oh my God, you bought the Murray. Thank you, Dad. I love you. And then cut the grass, and something happened to it. Like, I didn't mess it up, just something happened to it. I said, Dad, you going to get it fixed? Yeah, I'm going to get it fixed. Next thing you know, week, 2, 3 weeks, Dad, where's the lawnmower? All I want you to do is cut it with that push lawnmower. We still got that right? I went, yes, sir. He said, that's your mower from here on. Dad didn't want to tinker. He didn't want to do anything. It was that. I'm not messing with it anymore. That's how you're going to cut it. Okay.
Look, tell him how great granddad ruined the family.
Oh, all right. All right, so.
We could have been rich, really rich.
Oh,
My God. So Granddaddy was owned a buggy factory in LaGrange called Rouse Buggies. And it was like, that's what he did, right? And this was early. It's 1800s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like 1800s. And so kept making buggies, and a couple guys, when cars started coming out, a couple guys come down on a train. It was basically early General Motors type deal, and introduced them because the buggy factory, which I'll get into the kind of the funeral home aspect of it, but where the buggy factory was right beside the tracks, and there was like a station there, right? Mm-hmm. And it was there till when I was a boy. They got rid of it, got torn down. But the guys come off the train, introduced themselves, said, "Look, we want you to sell automobiles for us. You know, we've heard about you buggies and all." And we're like, Granddad's like, "Oh, those newfangled machines will never last. Everybody will always need horse and buggy." And we're like, "Oh my God!" And so then what happens, right?
We're all driving
buggies. Buggies are going by the wayside. I think some guy comes up to Granddaddy and said, "Hey, can you make me a nice coffin for one of my family members?" He makes one. Next thing you know, we transition from horse and buggies to the funeral business.
Yeah.
You know, times are changing, right?
Yep.
And so then it was funeral business till I was 13 years old, right? And then it all got sold off, and so, but it was one move. One little thing. And I always used to joke. I said, "Dad, what do you think would happen if you would have told Granddaddy there was satellites in outer space, and then you were getting your TV from it?" He couldn't fathom cars. You know, he was thinking horse and buggies. But you got to put yourself in that time, right?
Yeah.
It was LaGrange. It was dirt streets.
Yeah,
we're not in Chicago or New York or Detroit, right? We're in LaGrange. And there's nothing there.
Riding to the Seven Springs Hotel.
Right.
They drink toddies on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah. The big thing was taking your horse and buggy, going to the Seven Springs Hotel, making a day of it, taking your horse and buggy back home, and that was the deal, right? And so Seven Springs was a big thing back in the day, bud. It was big. It ain't much now, right? Because of floods.
Yeah.
It's a fountain of something down there. That's what I know.
Something down there. But that's the family story. Although Granddaddy was a master carpenter.
Yeah.
Worked in the Biltmore, did woodwork in the Biltmore house, and
yeah, he was doing like that woodwork and trim we were talking about earlier that they just don't do anymore, man.
Yeah. So maybe
craftsmanship.
Granddaddy somewhere down the line was like related to an Amish guy or knew an Amish guy.
I taught him his trade.
Yeah. Probably a smith of some sorts.
I don't know. He was really good. He was a really great master woodworker, to say, and he was
built the house on Washington Street.
Yeah, he was gone before I was born. So,
Gotcha.
But it was,
Interesting.
That's the story of Rouse. I've been there. Rouse has been in LaGrange since the town started. The fire tower was Granddaddy's, where the whistle is. It was Granddaddy's water tower, and Rouse has been in town since it started. He ain't left. We'll still hang around, I reckon.
That's pretty cool.
Could be worse places to go.
Would you be interested in doing jiu-jitsu? I know this is off topic, but
I don't know.
I've been thinking about getting into it.
How have we gone from woodworking to jiu-jitsu?
I was thinking
interesting segue, but hey,
It's a craft.
it's a craft.
Thank you. No,
I don't know. I'm pretty dialed into wrestling at this point. I'm 34, 35. If I start learning new stuff, I mean, I'm for it, but
yeah,
I'm you got to realize too, kind of getting there. The knees, man.
Oh,
35.
look, dude,
Oh my God.
I'm only
Ankles,
23,
knees.
right? I turned 24
Gotta be
this
careful.
year. But rolling around with some of them guys, I'm like, when I get home,
10
I'm
more,
like,
baby.
Kennedy, you
Imagine
gotta
me.
let me out.
Imagine when I try to roll around with them
Yeah.
for one period.
Yeah. 1 minute.
It's tough. I definitely have to stay in shape to run around with them boys. That's for sure.
I get afraid of like getting hurt, like throwing my knee out, because like my problem is my mind is still there.
Yeah, you're like, I
And
got it.
I'm
No
going.
problem.
Like, and the other problem is, especially in wrestling, is, and if I'm in a live situation, is it's almost like fighting. Like,
Oh yeah.
I really just black out and do stuff.
Yeah.
And
Muscle
so
memory.
when I
turn
do,
your
yeah,
switch.
Well, there's no substitute for
Do that
youth, boys.
scares
I'm
me.
just telling you.
do what?
No substitute for youth.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
With
to
it.
be honest with you.
I'd be nervous to start doing some other crazy. At
I'll
least
still
I know
gi-
which way I'm turning in wrestling. I
I'll
know
still give
which,
it to you, you know, on
be
the mat,
honest,
as much
though-
as I can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go but so much, right?
Yeah. To be honest, like I almost have I've had to implement a weight limit to ride this ride.
Yeah,
and
I
I've got to like,
understand.
You don't want to go with the heavyweights no more?
nah.
Me
got you.
neither.
And they just terrify me. Like it doesn't take much to hurt
That's
me.
a lot of mass. I mean, if you think
285.
about it,
Yeah.
right, it's a lot.
I'm not trying to be hurt or like anything like that for a period of time.
You weigh
That's
like probably like 165, something.
I weigh 133.
Yeah, I weigh 170, and when
Yeah.
Kane, when he falls on
Yeah,
top
I'm
of
not
me,
trying to do that.
that hurts, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
like,
lot of weight.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'll show him stuff and be like, all right, now do it to Chris.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to be. No. Yeah, that's what kind of terrifies me. And then it's almost like the person needs to wrestle for a year before I'll wrestle him, because the people that don't know, like I know what to expect when you know what you're
Yeah.
doing, but
Yeah.
these like some people don't know what they don't know, and they
Sure.
just do something
Yeah.
weird, and you're like, damn it, I just got a freaking stinger because this jackass did a roll that way that like you would never do, but they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
You
you're putting
preparing for
yourself in
something else.
position, and then they go that way, and you're like, why would you have ever have gotten that way? And you hurt me. Like,
Yeah.
dang you.
And then it takes 2 or 3 weeks or a month to get over the
Dude, I
sting you
spent-
just had.
That thing that night with Everett, where he had me up over there by the wall mats
Yeah.
in like June, and I don't know how the hell I got out of it. I somehow got out of it and got the takedown on him. However I went through to get through to the other side, because he had me one way, I was trying to back out, and he was like, he trapped me, and so I was like, all right, so I went the other way, and when I did that, I did something so bad to my neck that like I couldn't really wrestle for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I finally broke down and started going to the chiropractor, and I went like
Oh, darn.
like 2 or 3 times a week for like a month to get that thing fixed.
Oh, don't tell Everett.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Nah, he's not
God,
listening.
he'll
He's
use
not
it.
allowed
He'll
to
be
listen.
chip on the
He'll
shoulder
use
on
it.
that one.
I was pissed, man. It hurt like hell. I was trying to be like all tough about it for a few weeks, and I was like, my wife was fine. Like, actually, Alex in the office was like, if you don't quit bitching about that, I'm not like, you just can't come in here anymore. She's like,
In your own place?
I was like, but it hurts. Like, and I'm just like doing this. I was like,
My neck.
sucks getting old.
Did you get it taken care of?
She was like, if I call and schedule you an appointment, will you go? I was like, yeah, I just don't want to call. So she called and set me up,
felt
and then now I'm still in. So
felt that.
yeah, and it was funny because I show up and because they had known her for years from going there. So
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
hot. They're like, oh yeah. I said, yeah, I just I pretty much just complained about it enough, and then she mentioned it a few times, like, I'll call and make you an appointment, and then I really started complaining about it, and then she called for me.
Yeah.
And it worked
Yeah,
out.
I've never been to a chiropractor. I don't want anybody
Really?
cracking my neck. Nah,
Oh,
something
I
about
love that. I go right now.
it. Chrissy's the same way.
I want to go. I feel like I need to go. Me sitting in that car all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
Probably a
do.
little jacked
I would
up.
do to get like adjusted all the time.
Yeah,
I
just
got
go like
this,
once a month.
I got this like back stretcher. You put like it's got like the 3 different levels, kind of like arches
Yeah,
up and
yeah,
lay
yeah.
back on it. But I like that thing. I've been
Just an
using
inversion
it.
table, like I think I could use,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to like take the decompression
Oh, man.
off a little bit.
Me and Chris were coming right from the beach just like a month ago, maybe a month before Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and we went in some little consignment store, and it had an inversion little thing. And I said, Chrissy, I said, you ought to get one of these for your lower back.
Yep.
And the woman's like, oh yeah, try it. And so she got it. I said, let me show you how to get in it. So she got in it, and we moved all the furniture back. And we tipped her over, and she was like, oh my God. She said, all the blood's running rushing to my head. She said, my head's starting to hurt. And I pulled her back up. She said, no, we're not buying that. That was like
She knows
the
you
one
get her to the
time
house,
inversion
you flip
table.
her up, and then be like, all right, I gotta go check the sump pump. For you.
Done. She's like, I'm done with that.
I'm gonna have to get one of those and do that to my daughter. That'd be hilarious.
It was awesome. I
would
loved it.
deserve it.
I wish I could have recorded that.
Yeah, you should have.
Speaking of mom, can we like plug up businesses? Shameless self promotion. I'd like to shout out my fiance Kennedy with Southern Stitch Embroidery. She's been in business for about a year now. Doing really well. Very proud of her. My mom with Inkables. She works very hard. Sometimes from 7 in the morning till 2 at night. It's nuts, but she's a workaholic. She loves it. She loves putting smiles on people's faces. I'm very proud of you two girls. You work very hard. And the Grange Wrestling Club, if you have a kid who's maybe interested in trying it out, or a thought, maybe you think your kid could be good at it, maybe you think it would help him or her excel at another sport, or maybe if your kid has an attitude problem or a discipline problem, please bring them to us. We can help your kid. We can coach your kid. We can make your kid an athlete. Okay, I promise you.
I'd like to give a shout out also to Southern Stitch and Inkable Screen Printing. I know Chrissy's been in business for 21 years now.
Yeah.
Been doing it a long time, and she is a workaholic, to be honest with you, and she does a lot for the community too, and super proud of her. You know, she's the rock of the family for sure. Same shout out for Channing with the Grange Wrestling Club. If you got a kid that's, you know, first grade all the way up, even into high school, to be honest with you, and you just your kid wants to try something new. Maybe your kid doesn't feel like he's an athlete, but and maybe not fit into a sports mold per se. Maybe you have a kid that just wants to give it a try. Maybe it's kind of withdrawn in themselves, but maybe wants an avenue to try to break out of that shell. We're giving it to you. It's free of charge. It's the community center basically every Wednesday night. We've got a Facebook page, the Grange Wrestling Club, that Chrissy does. Go out there, see the videos, see the pictures, see what we're doing. You don't have to invest anything other than bring yourself a pair of socks, T-shirt, and shorts. Let's just go out there and wrestle a little bit. And if you feel like you like it and you're getting good at it or want to try to take it to the next level, then there's some tournament opportunities on the weekends, some club wrestling, inter-club wrestling that we're doing, and just get better and better, and just basically we're just trying to make wrestlers, which makes, you know, wrestlers in high school. We don't have middle school wrestling, although the school board has said that they're trying to get wrestling in the middle schools.
We're pushing for it hard.
Yeah, we're pushing for it, right? We've got
not a lot of answers.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids from Frank are already with us, and you know, I know Frank can field a team, and I know
yeah, for sure.
Wooding can, you know, they could get a team for sure, you know, and just got to work on these Kinston High athletes. Plenty of people at Kinston High School and Rochelle that could wrestle their tails off. You just got to get in. You just got to have an opportunity to do it. Not everybody's going to be the star basketball player, so there's got to be something else to do in the wintertime, so you might as well hit wrestling. Yep. And if you want to try it, come to LaGrange Wednesday nights at 5:30 and 6:30.
Thank you for checking out episode 22 of Kicking It With Podcast. That was Reid Rouse and Channing Rouse. I'm Zac Holcomb. See you on the next one. Thanks.